let's learn a little bit about Alexander Massialas before we bring him on here. Alex was born in San Francisco, California, to his father of Greek descent, Greg Massialas, and his Chinese mother. Alex excelled in the sport at a very young age, or from the very beginning of his career. And when he qualified for his first Olympic Games in 2012, he was the youngest male athlete on Team USA. Since 2012, Alex has consistently maintained a top 16 world ranking, which is very impressive, and he also qualified for 2 more Olympic Games. Currently, he is training for the postponed Tokyo 2021 Olympic Games. His career highlights include a silver and bronze medal from the 2016 Olympic Games, a silver medal at the 2015 World Championships, and winning the Team World Championship with USA Men's Royal in 2019, and winning the overall World Cup in 2016 and 2017. So that's pretty impressive, and was a special moment for that team and for Alex. In terms of his academic career, Alexander attended Stanford University, where he majored in mechanical engineering, and he was a student athlete there as well. In his free time, Alex loves playing basketball, skiing, hanging out with his friends, and playing video games. He is a Golden State Warriors fan, or Warriors aficionado, as he likes to put it, and a boba lover. Let's hear what Alex had to say during his interview. How were you introduced to fencing and the Massialas Foundation?
I guess you could say I had the inroads into fencing. My father was a 3-time Olympian, and I've, ever since I was born, I've pretty much had experience with the sport, whether it is just like running down the hallways and seeing the artwork on the walls, or playing with my dad's old fencing stuff, going to his old trophy case and whatnot. I've always had a huge fascination and a lot of experience with the sport. And with the Massialas Foundation, it was only natural that when he started his own fencing club, I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. That's great. Perfectly short and sweet. Awesome answer. To the point. So the next question for you is, what inspired you to pursue the Olympics or to pursue fencing at a higher level? Because, your dad fences, he makes a club, you fence, that's great, that's awesome. But then what for you was the driver to take it to the next level?
I actually think I wanted to be an Olympian before I wanted to be a fencer. Ever since I was a kid, my dad always really emphasized the Olympic values and the Olympic spirit, and the idea of the Olympics as a unifying experience and a unifying event. The values of the ancient Olympic Games about, laying down swords so warring states can come together to celebrate sport and celebrate the best of sport, has always been something that I hold really near and dear to my heart. It's something I, as a kid growing up and going to Greece and then visiting ancient Olympia and some of these places, it really felt those values really resonated with me, especially because the idea that sport can make the world a better place is something I truly believe in, and I think it's something my dad believes in as well. So even before I wanted to be a fencer, I wanted to be an Olympian, and I think that goal was always in the back of my head since the very beginning of my fencing career. But it's also something that drove me to try and be the best I could be in anything I did, whether it's sport or school as well. And I think the realization of that dream came when I was, 14 years old. I'd just seen Garrick make his first Olympic team in 2008. I think I just made my first cadet team actually in Australia the year before, in 2008 as well. And it seemed like, that was the very start of hopefully a long and prosperous career. And then when I got my first top 16 result in the Senior World Cup that January, the Paris, in CIP of all the tournaments you could do it at, that was when I really believed that, hey, I actually have the ability, I have the opportunity to do this, and I'm going to take this to the next level. And from that moment forward, I definitely put in a little bit extra every practice, whether it was, just focusing a little bit more during the footwork and trying to get everything perfect, to sitting down and trying to just to sit down during the lessons, even if we're just doing handwork. You can always be working on your legs, even if you're doing handwork during a lesson, right? So it was that moment where I knew that, I made top 16, but I got, destroyed the next match to make the top 8. So I knew I was capable of great things, but I also knew I had so much farther to go to achieve true greatness. And
in terms of your development and like your commitment to what you wanted to do.
Absolutely. And that was a driving force for me to move forward and truly be even more committed going forward in my career.
So great transition. So the next question is, what was it like for you to come away from Rio, or to be at Rio and win not only one medal for yourself, and for your club, for your family, for you, but then also to win a medal for your team and for the United States team also, with your silver individual and then your bronze team medals?
That was an amazing experience through and through. Obviously, from the very beginning, the goal was to get 2 golds. I thought I was definitely capable of that, and I thought our team was capable of that. Obviously, it is a little bit bittersweet in the sense that I fell a little bit short of those goals. But at the end of the day, I do know the history that, those results made for the United States. And I do know I put in my heart on the strip when I was fencing out there to, get these 2 medals. I wish I'd fenced better in the team event against Russia to make that gold medal match in the Olympics. That was probably one of the worst team events I've fenced in my entire career, or team bouts I've ever fenced in my entire career. But, that's going through that and then being able to redeem myself and to go through redemption with our team in Budapest to win the World Championships in 2019. That's what made it even sweeter. I definitely thought we had a good chance at winning the whole thing in 2016. And I take a big responsibility for why we didn't. But that's something I tried to use to drive myself to become better and to do better in the team events, and make sure we operate as a unit, as a team, as best we can. And now with Tokyo coming up, hopefully in the next year, that's where the goals are set on, is to get gold there, to redeem, what I feel like we should have done and could have done in 2016. Just, in 2021 as opposed to 2020.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, to your credit, oftentimes, for instance, you guys kind of won every single tournament in a year and then came in second at World Championships. But just to emphasize the fact that, coming in second and third at the Olympics is obviously not the same, but it's like very near coming in first, having 2 gold medals, because like at that level, like everyone is really, really great. And it just comes down to like moments, So like when you said like you guys could have won, you could have won individually and you guys could have won team, absolutely. But yeah, so like that's all I'm saying. Like you guys are like a gold medal Olympic team, even if you didn't win the gold medal. Like you are of that caliber.
I think the reason why, we take it so hard is we know we're that caliber. We just want to go out to the world and prove it.
And you have to do it in that moment at that time.
Absolutely.
That one day, that one event, that, 1 minute, 30 seconds where you have to make that touch.
You got to rise to the occasion.
Claim it. But you guys, you'll do it. But, my next question kind of goes back to the M team, and it's about, how does the M team community, how has that impacted you and your fencing career?
I mean, the M team community is almost everything in my fencing career. It's where I started. It's the coaches I've known there from the very beginning. I've formed bonds with like all the fencers that have come through there, and I still stay friends with a lot of the fencers to this day, even after they retired. And even if they didn't fence in university, didn't fence in college, a lot of these people I still keep in contact with, and I'm still good friends with. When you see someone, and are training with them at the highest level 3 to 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a week, every week for so many years. You guys go through, you go through something, and you form a special bond that really can't be found otherwise, right? That's such a unique experience. I'm sure that's the same case with a lot of clubs. But that's one of the reasons why I believe in the beauty of sport. You know, it's this unifying experience that everyone goes through. And for me, the M team was fundamental in that. And, you know, as I said, yeah, to this day, I'm friends with so many of our graduates and people who were fencers on the M team, and then people on the M team that introduced me to other fencers in the United States and in the world, right? So it really, the M team was so foundational for me, and formative, and it continues to be as I, you know, kind of get older and get more experience. And I'm no longer the young kid at the club. I'm actually one of the elder statesmen, which is such a vast difference from what I'm used to and what I grew up doing, especially when I first was trying to make my first Olympics team, right? I was still just a little kid, definitely a little pipsqueak. So to be the elder statesman that, you know, people want to get advice from, and people, you know, kids want to approach me to get help and get my perspective on things, and then, you know, helping run classes here and there. It's a really nice transition, and it kind of shows how the fencing club can be formative all the way through, you know, your childhood years, even to being an adult as well.
Thank you for that. That was a really sweet answer. One moment, I'm just gonna say hi, Doris. I have one more question for Alex, and then I'll go on to asking your questions. But yeah, we did Greg,
Hi,
Alex,
Doris.
and then you'll be right up after. I just have one more question for Alex. And here's the question. So my question for you, my last question is, how do you think the M team and its fencers have impacted the demographic of fencing, kind of have impacted representation of the fencing community, or added to that?
You know, I think I'm very proudly Asian American. I think I have always been very proud to be Chinese American, growing up in San Francisco, and that's still something I hold very near and dear to my identity to this day. I think we're in a place in America where there isn't a ton of Asian American representation in sports.
Yes.
And I'm really proud to be one of these people to represent the Asian American community, because it is an area where I think we're vastly underrepresented, especially at the elite level. And, you know, to be part of a system that has produced a lot of great Asian American athletes is something I take a lot of pride in. You know, ever since I was a kid, I went to Chinese American International School. My mom's Chinese. I went back to Taiwan almost every other year to visit family and stuff. So I'm very much in touch with my Asian heritage and my Chinese heritage. And, you know, to be able to go out there and, you know, try and fence the best I can, and, you know, be able to achieve such great results and stuff, it makes a lot sweeter when I know I'm representing more than just myself. I'm representing not only the United States, but Asian Americans, you know, all over Asian Americans and Asians all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think fencing and our club has shown that there can be great Asian American athletes, especially in the sport of fencing, but, you know, all over the place. I think we just need the opportunity to be represented and to see people ahead of us that look like us too. I mean, even though my goals and my, you know, ideas were set on the Olympics from a very young age, having Garrick go through the cycle 4 years ahead of me, even though it was for me at the time, I was just like, oh, you know, it's another one of my dad's students. I don't care if he's Asian or not, but it does help when the person in front of you doing these great things looks a little bit like you. And
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that I can do the same for generations behind me.
Yeah, and I want to let you know, you definitely have. There are a lot of people, you've kind of, I feel like you guys have gotten to the point where you're able to just represent great fencing in addition to just, you know, having whatever cultural background that you have. And I think that that's also so important for it to be like the best fencer in the US or the best fencer in the US are people who are different ethnicities. You know, there's not one sort of fencer who looks the part or matches the part or matches the story.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I can be part of that, and I know our club has done a great job of having getting that kind of representation out there, whether it be with me and my sister, Garrick, the Lillettes, you know,
Yeah.
the Bravos. Um, I think you know, just being able to showcase our diversity is a humongous asset to sports in general.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate you once again for giving your wisdom and your thoughts.
Thanks, Iman.
Thank you for tuning in to this interview. This is what a fencer looks like interview. We were so happy to have you. If you're interested in hearing from more athletes about their narratives and what they love about the sport and their involvement in the sport, you can watch our other interviews on our YouTube channel, Aspire to Inspire Initiative, or on IGTV at Aspire to Inspire Initiative. So we hope that you engage more in our community and have a wonderful day.